In permanent waving, proper neutralization is just as important as the processing solution. Our learning objective for this lesson is to explain the purpose of neutralization in permanent waving. Neutralization provides two very important functions. The first is to deactivate any remaining permanent wave solution that may be left in the hair after rinsing and blotting. The second is to rebuild the broken disulfide bonds. Permanent waving neutralizers are oxidizers. The term neutralizer is not accurate, because the chemical reaction that takes place is actually oxidation. Remember, oxidation is a chemical reaction that releases oxygen. Hydrogen peroxide, or H2O2, is an example of an oxidizing agent, because it contains an extra oxygen atom that can be easily released. The most common neutralizer used for permanent waving solutions is hydrogen peroxide. The concentrations of the hydrogen peroxide used will vary between 5 volume, or 1.5%, and 10 volume, or 3%, depending upon the manufacturer. The first stage of neutralization is to deactivate any remaining waving solution left in the hair. We begin this process simply by rinsing the waving solution thoroughly from the hair. As the pH of water is generally somewhere between 6 to 7, rinsing the solution begins the neutralizing process by lowering the pH. Remember, the pH of the waving solution was probably about a 9.5, so by rinsing with a pH of 6.5, we are lowering the pH of the hair and diluting any remaining solution left in the hair. Once the neutralizer has been applied, it begins to deactivate any remaining solution. Because neutralization is actually an oxidation reaction, fading of artificial hair color should be expected. Some manufacturers recommend the application of a pre-neutralizing conditioner after rinsing the waving solution from the hair, just before applying the neutralizer. This is generally an acidic liquid protein product that can be applied and placed uncovered under a hooded dryer for 5 minutes. This added step is quite beneficial for damaged hair. Be sure to always follow manufacturer's instructions. The second stage in the neutralization process is to rebuild the disulfide bonds. You may recall the disulfide bonds were broken by the waving solution, by adding hydrogen that breaks the bond between the adjoining sulfur atoms. Neutralizer rebuilds the disulfide bonds by adding oxygen back into the chemistry. Hydrogen has a stronger attraction to oxygen than it does to sulfur. The addition of this extra oxygen causes the hydrogen atoms to release its bond with the sulfur atoms. Once the hydrogen atoms release their bond with sulfur atoms, they then join themselves to the newly added oxygen atoms. Adding the oxygen now creates a combination of 1 sulfur atom, 2 hydrogen atoms, and 1 oxygen atom. Now, each oxygen atom joins with 2 hydrogen atoms, forming new water molecules, or H2O. Leaving the sulfur atom behind to rebond with other sulfur atoms joined by the newly rearranged disulfide bonds. Thereby, the side bonds are then reformed into their new shape as different pairs of polypeptide chains. When neutralizing a permanent wave, apply the neutralizer to each rod, using the same method as applying the waving solution. Leave the neutralizer to sit in the hair for a full 5 minutes, or longer if directed by the manufacturer. Take out the rods in reverse order. The last rod in should be the first rod out. Run any remaining neutralizer through the hair, and gently massage the scalp, to break up the part lines left from the sectioning of the perm rods. Rinse the neutralizer for full of 5 minutes, or longer if directed. Rinse the hair with warm gentle water. Do not shampoo unless directed by the manufacturer. Remember, always follow the manufacturer's directions.